What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Shuggy. Got my Shuggy shirt today. Hope everybody's doing well. Today we're talking about Fear the Walking Dead yet again. Last week I gave a scathing review of the Season 8 premiere. I really hated the episode, a lot of really dumb logical inconsistencies, and not a whole lot to redeem it in my eyes, and thorough character assassination of its lead cast members. But I gotta say, this next episode is a little bit better. There's still a lot of dumb stuff here. We're going to be breaking it down. We're going to be nitpicking. That's what we always do in this channel. But there's a decent story here, couple decent concepts. So it's not all bad. So I feel a little bit better about it this week than last week. But I don't think that this redeems all the issues so far. But I don't know. Maybe it'll get better. I don't know. I'm too much of an optimist. You know, I took notes this week of all the stupid things that happened so I don't forget everything. But we start the episode out with a montage with June here. June is the main character of this episode, and it's also a Dwight and Sherry episode. That's one of the reasons why it's better, because Dwight's in it, and I actually like Dwight. You know, they've yet to assassinate his character, although I suppose they kind of do. But I still like Dwight. And this episode has June taking a brutal role. She is on the outs with Padre. She used to be a part of them, and now she's not. She is hunting them. And I like the beginning of the episode. I actually like this montage here. They got a bunch of close-up cuts, and they show, her packing up her bag for the day. They're showing her routine, what she always does. Got a cool-looking zombie. It's not a zombie-centric episode towards the first half of the episode. So they got one cool zombie to start the episode off. Gotta give that a plus here. They never skimp on the zombie design in this show, so that's one thing I can praise it for. But, you know, I'm kind of liking this new direction for June here. I think, obviously a lot of time has passed, so there's a difference now with who she is. And obviously, after everything she's been through, losing her new husband, I suppose you could say, John Dory, and all of that, everything she's been through before. I mean, she lost her daughter before and was a loner, and now she's kind of back in that place. That actually makes sense to me, to bring a character back to where they were before. You know, it can be repetitive, but I think in this case with June, it makes sense. But she's got tranquilizer darts, and I guess she doesn't want to kill Padre, but she's taking them out and then cutting off their fingers, and we learn the origin story of that later. But, you know, through this montage, I'm enjoying the visuals, and I'm enjoying the new direction for June, but I gotta be critical, of course, and I'm thinking of, how does she get all this stuff for the tranquilizers? How does she get all the tranquilizer fluid? You know, how does she even get the tranquilizer gun to begin with? All these questions. You know, she manages to keep all of her instruments very sterilized. Where's she getting all of the chemicals for that? She just seems to have bottomless supply of all this stuff. She's been on her own for many years. Where's she getting food from? You know, these are the things I'm thinking about. And it doesn't really seem like the show's thinking about it. And there's another nitpicky thing, which is that, you know, she's tranquilizing people. Tranquilizer darts, contrary to popular belief, don't work instantly. They take minutes to kick in sometimes. So, but I'm not going to impress this show on that, because they do that in every movie that has tranquilizers. So I'm not going to say Fear the Walking Dead is bad for that, because that's a Hollywood thing in general. But it's definitely something I was thinking about as the show was going on. I don't understand why she wouldn't just want to kill them. Why she's cutting the fingers off. But it's thoroughly brutal, and I enjoy it. So, you know, I was like, what the hell's going on? I kind of like that. She stores the guns in her place. I don't know why she's just stashing them like that and not planning to use them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, why isn't she killing them? It would be, apparently she has a lot of guns and a lot of ammo, so I don't see what the issue is with killing them. But I do like how she has these signs that she's placing around. She got a pickle jar full of fingers. I mean, the imagery is good. I gotta give it on the imagery. You know, I gotta give him a thumbs up for that. But I like that she's putting signs up and trying to warn people to stay away from Padre. But one thing I didn't bring up last week, I'm going to bring up this week, is that the whole concept of Padre going out to find people's children and steal them away, one of the issues with that concept is the fact that we are now 10 years into the apocalypse. Last season, I believe we were 3.5 years. At one point, I thought we had nearly caught up with the original series, but I was wrong about that. It was like 3.5 years last season. Now we're 7 years plus, so we're close to the end of the final season, I believe. It times out about that way there. So we're 10 years into the apocalypse, a decade in. There's not going to be just like random people scattered about. It's going to be groups surviving together, strength in numbers and all that. It's going to be very difficult to survive on your own in the wilderness, especially with limited resources. So it is possible to survive on your own in the woods if you're very skilled and knowledgeable, but the average person is going to struggle with that. So most of the people that are going to be left are going to be in groups, and probably big groups, because groups that get together, they're going to war, and that's something that The Walking Dead has been about all along. Groups survive together, and then big groups end up in conflict with each other, and the evolution of all that. That's one of the big themes of the series overall. So I have trouble looking past that, because if they're going to steal these children, odds are it's going to be from a big group. That's where they're going to get children from. Especially, children, you have to be in a relative degree of security to have children in this world, because babies make noise. Noise draws zombies. If you're surviving on your own in the middle of the woods, are you going to have the resources to fight off all these zombies? Probably not. So that's a concept. It doesn't really hold water, but I like the idea of Padre is the faceless collective and all that. We've talked about that before. So here's another issue with this episode. I actually like this character, Adrian, here. The concept of the character is great, and they have a good arc with him. That's the good part of this episode, is his part. And some of the revelations about the past of June's past. I like that part of the episode. We'll get there at the end of the episode, but this part really sucks me out of it, because June's been doing this for years, plural, I believe, and she's been chopping people's fingers off and all that. You would think surely she's number one enemy for Padre. They would be scouring the woods for her, and apparently everybody can find everybody magically, and everything's within walking distance, so it really shouldn't be that hard to find her, especially if this random dude can. This random dude tracked her. She's apparently not good enough at tracking, or covering her tracks, rather. So that just sucks me out of it. Like, this guy was able to find her, but Padre wasn't? How does that make any sense at all? I don't know. It would have made more sense if she, saved him in some way, and that was what caused their paths to cross. But yeah, that kind of takes me out of it. But this guy, he's got a daughter that Padre has, we learn about by the end of the episode. So June is very resistant to this idea, and we find out that she, knows who the daughter is, and that's why she's hesitant. But this guy's like, I got a group, and we're gonna fight against Padre and all that. I don't know why she's so hesitant to this concept, and this is something that repeats in the episode. She's like, she won't fight against Padre, but that's the whole reason that she gets up in the morning, is to chop people's fingers off and and observe. I don't even know how she finds out where all the Padre boats are going. I guess she's got a radio. Where's she getting power for that radio? These are the kind of things I think about. Everybody's got a radio, and everybody can keep it charged at all times. Where are they getting this power? I guess everybody's got solar panels. I don't know, dude. It's driving me nuts. But anyways, I don't know why she's so hesitant. Her whole life is about fighting against Padre at this point. I understand why she would be hesitant at the beginning, doesn't know if she can trust him, but later on in the episode, once she sort of trusts him, it doesn't really make sense that she wouldn't want to pursue that, so that's one thing. Maybe we'll actually get that in I'm assuming that's what we're building towards, so, and also, June getting away from Padre, it again adds to everybody's able to get away and escape, so we get a boat, another boat here, and one person falls off. One person dies. I don't know how they die. I guess they fall off into the water. She doesn't get to him in time. I didn't really get that part, how the other one died, but the other two are Dwight and Sherry and their kid. They're all riding together in a boat. And that's another big problem with this episode. Padre's all about no family. You got to separate everybody. You can't be next to people that you know. There's no relationships going on. So Sherry says that Padre doesn't know that Dwight's the father. Okay, there you go. That's an explanation for why Dwight is able to be on this boat ride. But it's not an explanation for why Sherry is able to be on this boat ride. They would still want to keep them separate, right? There's no hiding the fact that Sherry is this kid's mother. So that makes no sense. And the kid's on Padre's side, but he's brainwashed, whatever, that makes sense. But you would think, Sherry and Dwight, if they were able to get this plan together and get off on a boat with their kid, why wouldn't they be trying to escape at this point? I don't understand that. So I'm just looking over my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. So the kid's got appendicitis. So I don't understand why they have to go somewhere to get that. I guess their medical facility is separate from the main island. I don't know why. That doesn't make sense to me, unless Padre's like just a big network. Maybe there's a bunch of different islands. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe we'll see more of it and understand that later. But the kid's got appendicitis, and it's another huge coincidence, okay? The one time they are actually together, June happens to find them, and it also happens to be the time when the kid needs surgery. So it's like a bunch of big coincidences together. A few coincidences in the show I can forgive, but there's so many in every episode, it's so annoying. And I have to point it out every time, okay? So, and also the kids got this, they're gonna talk to June, and they're like, okay, the kid, he can get off the boat, and just let him wander off, so we can talk alone for some reason, because there are things that Dwight and Sherry don't want the kid to know yet, and that's why they need to let him go away. Why would they let him out of their sight? Makes no sense. And also, the kid's got appendicitis, and he's got this little, like, broomstick weapon thing. We'll see it later. This kid, we talked about kids, they're gonna have trouble killing zombies. That's just a fact. And he's got a little broomstick with a little, like, thing on the end. It's the most ridiculous weapon. And even if it did work, this kid's got a appendix that's gonna burst. He's got to get his appendix removed. You don't want him to be doing any sort of heavy lifting or anything like that. Okay, it's really dumb. So that's one thing that needs to be pointed out. But yeah, I mean, appendicitis is a very complex surgery. They've really stretched. She's still not a doctor, June. She's still not a surgeon, and they've had her do so many things, and they stretched it as far as they can go with this episode. Apparently she could do brain surgery. Why not? Let her do whatever. I mean, she's apparently a genius surgeon. Who needs anybody else? I don't know. I mean, I guess is that a nitpick, guys? Let me know what you think. But yeah, so they found this train. June knows a place where they can go to do the surgery, and they're on this train. Another thing I could praise is I like the production design of this train. We'll get to more of it later. But you see the exteriors here, and we got cut lawns. It's a recurring theme on The Walking Dead, so I'm not gonna press on this episode too much. But yeah, we got mowed lawns, which is not gonna be a thing in the apocalypse. It is TV. They got limited time. I can cut them a bit of slack for that, but we're pointing out all the inconsistencies and illogical things. But one of the issues was like June is like blackmailed to do this because they're gonna tell Padre who she is. They're gonna give away her identity. I don't know why that matters to her. So that's his whole motivation for doing this, and it makes no sense. I mean, you could have just had June won't let this kid die, and that be the motivation. But they're threatening her with telling Padre who she is. Why would that tell them anything? And also she was part of Padre and then she left, unless she faked her death, which isn't what happened according to this episode. It wouldn't help them in any way to find her, right? Unless, I don't know how that would make a difference to what June is doing. Oh, they know who June is. They know who the person cutting the fingers off is. They still don't know where she is, right? What does that matter? Maybe if they knew something about where she was, or where she was staying, that would be one thing. But I don't understand the blackmail situation. So they're on this bus, and this is where the surgery is gonna happen. There's a bunch of surgical tables, and they got this zombie head on like an arm that is able to stretch out, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. But they're gonna do surgery on this kid, and for some reason, this bus still has power, or not a bus, it's a train. The train still has power. How? And it's got to be limited. I mean, they've been using they use this train for a long time. I mean, is it like gas powered or how? I don't know. They're really stretching my suspension of disbelief with just everything working, and they're wasting power on like this light by the door and all this other random stuff. And then also, oh, this experiments that we find out about were a secret, but here are conveniently placed documents so that Sherry can find it and ask questions about it, but it's a secret and it's off the books, so June says later in the episode. If it's off the books, why is there any documentation? Okay, it's another stupid thing. Okay, and we're nitpicking. Yes, fine. So we got radiation, and also another coincidence. Adrian just shows up right now magically. He's been following her this whole time. It's so painful, dude. I mean, they make it worth it by certain things happening at the end, but it's just like a lot of coincidences in a row. So it's very annoying. But the whole situation here, the guy, he's got him at gunpoint and it makes sense because he must recognize Dwight and Sherry, I guess. How would he know? Does he know everybody in Padre? Padre seems to have hundreds of soldiers. I doubt he would recognize them unless they're the ones who stole his kid, which would be another coincidence. I don't know how he knows who they are, but he's got him at gunpoint. And then he misses the shot or something. Dwight's able to get the gun from him. I don't know. That's another. A lot of the action scenes are very hokey in this, and it's what the plot needs to have happen is what happens. Okay, so it's not necessarily what makes the most sense. So Dwight gets the gun. The gun goes off, and of course, because the plot needs the power to go away, it shoots the box. But somehow they can turn the power back on. Even though they shot the circuit breaker. I don't know. I don't know, man. It's really... I can't with all the dumb stuff, man. I can't, okay? So Dwight and Sherry have to climb up because now the zombies are surrounding the train. They heard the sound of the gun. Fine, I'm with that. That makes sense. And they're not going to go through because the dead are there. But wouldn't they have heard the dead people after the gunshot goes off? Maybe they're lurkers in the train, but they would activate after hearing the gunshot, right? That's how the zombies have worked in the past. So they would have heard the dead people. And also, June said it was safe now that she killed the one zombie. I guess she was lying, but it's not really safe though, because there's a bunch of zombies here. Although they're locked down, but they are able to they're able to escape somehow, so I don't know. Whatever. They need to turn the power on to get the surgery back, and all the conversations with Adrian, they're all right. It's a little repetitive with The Walking Dead because one of the big themes is we're surviving, but what are we living for? It's it's almost a cliche at this point, but it is like the heart of The Walking Dead, and we need something to live for. So it's a bit repetitive, but I'm actually okay with it. It is worth pointing out that it's, not unique or anything. But I do like how they flip that on its head. The guy trying to convince her you need somebody to live for, he has his undoing because he loses that person. So, it kind of reinforces what June is talking about in the episode. So I like how they flip that. Here, Dwight and Sherry have a heart-to-heart about how... they don't want to go back to Padre, and I feel like this should have happened earlier, really, and they should. I don't know how they've gone on with this for so long, because a few seasons ago it was all like, we can't let Negan happen again. We got to fight against the Ginny and all them because we can't let Negan happen again. And now in a season's worth of time, they're just like, okay, never mind. I guess we can let Negan happen again. They even bring up the sanctuary here, and all that's good. I like these two characters, but it got a little stale last season with them. So I actually like that we got some drama with them. But I thought it was so funny when they have a kiss and then they fall through the thing. I laughed out loud at that. That was pretty funny to me. And here we are with a bunch of radiation zombies. We'll get back to the experiments and whatnot later. But I like the look of the zombies. The design is cool. But another inconsistency with the show is, in season 5, they introduced the concept of nuclear zombies affected by radiation. And being near them was dangerous. Getting their blood on you was dangerous. And we've completely done away with that because it's inconvenient. They did away with that last season in the nuclear apocalypse when you think it would matter even more. But now it doesn't matter at all. They're killing zombies in close quarters and it's fine. All that's really goofy. And they have a gun with them, but they're hiding away. So I don't know why they're like talking on the radio and not taking the zombies out right already, But so now June's gonna go. She tells the guy to stay. Fine. And then she's walking through the train car and sees all the experiments. She got the zombies in heads, and there are zombies that are irradiated, chained on the walls. And this production design, super cool. I will give them a thumbs up on the production design. I thought it looked pretty dang good. And they spoil it right away because she can't break through the lock at the end of the car. So she activates all the zombies. And I guess, they've been here a long time. So the rails all rusted up and they were able to be ripped off by the zombies. It's a coincidence, but okay, I'll take it. I'll accept it. But why didn't they activate earlier with the gunshot? Well, we already talked about that. But then June has her gun up and she's fighting the zombies. And, here's another hokey action scene because she's shooting the zombies, but she keeps walking closer to them. When really, it wouldn't make sense for her to move closer. Like, she would want to stay as far away as possible. Not just because of the radiation stuff I mentioned earlier, but also just because, you want to stay as far away from them as possible. You don't want to get grabbed. You don't want anything to happen. So she's walking up close to them, pew, 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 and I guess that makes her more accurate. But remember, a couple seasons ago, after John Dorie died, she instantly, magically became perfect aim June somehow. And that translates to her with the tranquilizer dart earlier. She somehow magically inherited his perfect aim. And whatever. So she doesn't need to get close to the zombies, right? I mean, they've characterized her as having perfect aim with the tranquilizer dart. All of a sudden, now she needs to get closer to shoot the zombies. Like, dude, she would be at the door still. None of that would have happened. But they needed to it's just what the plot needs to happen. It's just convenience for the writer is the main thing that is of concern with the script. So they need Adrian to save her so that she can trust them a little bit. So that's what happens, whatever. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I just can't with this anymore, guys. It's getting ridiculous. Okay, so and then they go back and save them. And the kid shows up. He's got the little broomstick thing. He kills a zombie. It's really silly, and he was under anesthesia, and he's got enough energy to do that. I really don't know, man. I don't even believe that these kids, would have the upper body strength to do that, especially from down low. We've talked about that all before. I'm repeating myself at this point. But here's where the big revelations happen. Because the guy sees his daughter zombified in the other room. Which is like, is that where they just came from? Or is that the next car ahead? If it's the next car ahead, forget it. But if it wasn't, then why didn't he see her before? It must be the car ahead. It must be. But he was able to recognize her right away. Which, like, a zombie that's been there for that long is so decayed. It just kind of looks like any other kid. I don't know that it would have made sense for him to recognize her right away. Maybe, I don't know. But the other thing is, like, they set up, he's got this handmade bracelet, and I assumed that was going to come back later, and that's how he's going to recognize her. But of course, it wouldn't really make sense for her to still have that if she's in Padre's captivity. Like, they wouldn't want her to have anything unique. It's all about uniformity. It's all about the collective, right? So I guess that she wouldn't have that, but I thought that that's how he was going to recognize the zombie. But I like the drama of him finding his daughter, and the emotions there are good. This is the scene that I kind of like, So now we find out the past with June. And there are experiments going on. They thought that because Alicia last season was able to survive the zombie bites, immunity or whatever, because even it was so weird because she chopped off her arm, which we've seen people survive with bites because of that, but she still thought that she just had the idea that she was infected. It made no sense. It was dumb. If they wanted to really show that she was immune or whatever because of radiation, then she really should have. And wouldn't other people have gotten... Did other people get bit last season? I don't really remember. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked with thinking about last season. But because June found out about Alicia, then she thought to try to cure people who got bit by using radiation treatments, and okay, I'm all right with that, I guess. I thought it was stupid at first, the radiation thing, but you attach it to Alicia, I can see what they're going for. The execution was really bad, but I guess June was trying to save people, but they got heads in jars, and that's one thing Padre's trying to do later. They were like, we didn't kill people. You got heads in jars, and you got this arm thing that reaches the zombie out and lets the zombie bite people. You're killing people. Like, you can't deny that. But whatever. I like the acting in this scene. I'll give Jenna Elfman, I believe is her name, I'll give her a thumbs up. She carries this. The emotions, the crying, whatnot. But she's revealing the past. It was her treatment. And the Padre lady that we've seen before, she cut her finger off. She was the first finger to cut off because she wanted to cut off her trigger finger, because her trigger finger against the gun was what was stopping June from leaving earlier or something. I don't know. It's a little hokey, I don't know why June didn't just kill the lady. I guess she's a pacifist or something. I don't know. That wasn't a thing before, was it? I don't know. Either way, it's a little forced, the finger thing. But I suppose I like the brutality of that enough that I'm okay with it. But, like, if she would have just killed the lady, then things would have worked out a little better, right? I don't know. So, yeah, the guy's angry because he's like, June, you killed her. And she's like, no, I was trying to save her. I'm with that, And the zombie kid against the glass, the zombie kids, they are more effective emotionally than just a regular zombie. So, it's a recurring theme on Walking Dead, but it's one that works, so I'm not gonna, cry repetition too much. This scene worked for me, the emotions of it. But then the guy, Adrian, self-sacrifices and runs over there and gets bitten. They don't even try to stop him or save him or anything. They just kind of watch it happen, which, like, I like the drama of it and the emotions, good. But they don't even try. They're just like... yeah, he's gonna get bitten or whatever, like, that's fine, I guess, fine, okay, I guess. And then he runs off and gets bitten and he dies, and then, they do the surgery, and then, Padre shows up. Magically, coincidentally, of course, because coincidences are everything, and convenience is everything. Padre shows up right on time, surgery's done. It's a very difficult surgery to do, I'm pretty sure. I mean, the appendix is a really small organ. It's not a simple surgery, very prone to infection. So, again, I don't know that I believe that June can really pull that off. But, just in case we're really dumb and don't know, she's got a fake finger, and they have the lady take her finger off in case we missed it, in case we didn't pay attention. I guess I don't know. They're really writing for the lowest common denominator when when she's taking her finger off and showing that, whatever. So this lady, I don't know, she's the villain of this season, I guess, or the underling under Padre, uh, who's the Wizard of Oz, man behind the curtain. So we finally got some drama. We got Dwight and Sherry. They are chained up, and their acting is really good. I like these actors a lot. They deserve better material in my opinion, but at least they're getting real stuff in this episode. This is tough, and I actually like the drama of their kid getting threatened with getting bitten, and he does get bitten, and that's all to get June to work on the experiments again and try to use the radiation treatments. I like this scene. I got to give it a plus. Although one minor complaint is Dwight instantly is like, we're trying to save him from assholes like you. When in my mind, they should be reverting back to at least pretending to be on Padre's side because that would be what is best for the kid. But yeah, so the lady's able to put two and two together, and that actually makes sense, because she knows the past of this situation. It's the nearest available surgery place or whatever. Again, huge coincidence that it's that boat that June hits, but that we've already talked about that. So the villain lady is evil and puts the little zombie head on the arm thing, and it's a really goofy looking thing, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, we already talked about how she said, we're not killing people when they totally are. Especially as she's doing it right now. Like, you're doing it right now. But I like this scene, and Padre using the family against you right after June had the conversation with Dwight and Sherry about becoming a family again. So I like this part. I think it's pretty good. The drama's good. The intensity's there. And, it's got the creative, high concepts thing with the zombies. I don't know if I really buy into the radiation treatment saving or killing the zombie. We don't even know if it's a virus or bacteria or whatever, but I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch, but whatever. We'll go run with it, I guess. And then we got the final scene, the cliffhanger scene, with Morgan and Madison picking up last week. I didn't really mention it enough last week about the thorough character assassination of our two lead characters on this show. Of course, Madison and Morgan. Morgan is one of the best Walking Dead characters, and Madison too, actually. She carried the earlier seasons of Fear the Walking Dead, at least for me. But especially Morgan though, I am really ashamed that they took a character who has killed dozens of zombies at a time. He has this whole mindset of like, I can't die, clear Morgan, like all the different arcs he's been through. And he gets to a point where he's in a swamp with zombies and he's so scared he's all of a sudden can't kill zombies. And, he calls in his enemy who is stealing people's children, and it's just such a thorough character assassination. He's just a scared little guy. And Madison, the same thing with her, taking a strong character and making her scared for dumb reason. But I do like this scene here, and Morgan bringing up, the thing he failed to do long ago. And we know what he's talking about because we've been following this character for a long time. We know he's talking about his son and his wife. He failed to kill his wife as a zombie, and she bit his son, Dwayne. So, and that's, of course, why we're going to Atlanta later, setting that up, bringing things full circle, I suppose. So, yeah, it's a bit of, it's a bit obvious, but I like this scene. And then Madison pretends to collapse, and she's like, I need oxygen, and then she's able to fight these guys off. It's a really hokey action scene because, she's bound up. I don't know why they're not tied against the the truck in some way. I don't know why they're traveling together. They should have like gags. They shouldn't be allowed to talk to each other in case of a situation like this. There's all these things like that should have been done to avoid the situation, and it makes Padre look bad. So, you know, again, they did it with CRM and earlier in this show too, like just making them look weak by just making them ineffectual, you know. But Madison's able to single-handedly take on these two guys who are half her age, I assume, and they probably have guns and all of that. Like, and it's so dumb. You know, surely they have guns. Morgan runs away. Wouldn't they be able to just whoop pop? Like, I don't know. It's pretty stupid. Why, if they were gonna, I don't know, are they gonna keep them prisoner and maybe use them for experiments? That would make sense. But if not, I don't know why they didn't just kill him on the spot. You know, at the end of the last episode, it looked like they were just gonna let him go or something. I don't know. It was really weird. And again, Morgan was the one who called them, so it's another thing. It's like, fucking Morgan, you're so stupid. It's thorough character assassination again. So really hokey action scene, but Morgan's on the run now. And Madison, I guess, I don't know. She's going to go back with them somehow still. I don't know. Why didn't Morgan help her out and try to, like, save her too? Because if she doesn't win this fight, like, they're going to just catch up to him right away. Pretty stupid. And I also forgot to mention earlier with the Dwight and Sherry being tied up and their son's getting bitten. But unlike the zombies, which the zombies were chained to rusted things, and those were able to be ripped off, you know, unlike them, they can't rip off the thing they're chained to. And I guess you could say, oh, the zombies have been there for a while, and they have been pulling at it, or whatever. But it didn't seem like that when they got to the train because of how quiet they were, etc. But, you know, I think we've thoroughly covered everything in this episode. Going to take one last look over my notes to make sure that I got everything. I think I did. Oh, they cut off June's finger. I don't know why she didn't pull her finger back or fight back against that. That was the only thing I've forgotten. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. So I hope everybody enjoyed this review. Definitely let me know anything I missed in the comment section down below. If you agree, disagree. Again, this episode better than the last one, but it's still pretty dumb. It's still pretty bad, but it has some redeeming qualities, so it's not all bad. But I look forward to seeing you guys for the review next week, and definitely keep it locked on Shook Earth Media for all things Walking Dead. And we're going to start streaming again soon here, I think. So hope to see you guys there. And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.